What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. We're on location today, getting all the cars switched around and fired up. Just realized that I think one of the mic batteries died, so I don't know if I have any audio from the footage moving forward, but here is where we're at. Came over here, van's over here. I grabbed the truck the other day, got that back home, grabbed some batteries out of all of these, recharged them the last couple days, and parked the van, put the right battery back in there. Dottie has been unshrink wrapping the boat because it's 80 some degrees right now, and we're going through and getting the panel truck running, and then the Falcon is behind Dottie's car. So I have no idea when that mic died. I will find out in editing. But that's kind of what we're doing. I got the hood up on this, air cleaner off, just poured gas in the car, but this thing fired up immediately, somehow. Started on a couple cylinders and kind of tractored itself to life. However, sputtered out and killed itself. I'm just looking at this now. The accelerator pump is non-functional. Lost a C-clip there. It's leaking gas everywhere, and it's overflowing and the float's stuck. So try and free up that float. I don't know if we're gonna get lucky enough on this. This thing really needs a carburetor. You can't even see. I'm on a roll today, but you can see the gas everywhere. I'll try that. I'm gonna knock the float bowl a little bit. And then I gotta figure out some sort of one-barrel swap for this thing. See if she'll go again. Still leaking fuel, I think. I can see it from here. won't stay running with fuel dripping out of it like that. Hopefully that shows up on camera. I can see it through the hood slot, but she runs. That's why she's struggling to get fired up. So I don't know what to do. I need to move this about 2 feet over and a little bit farther back. I think I might just send it with the gas leak for now and then yank this carb off. Maybe I'll even bring that carb home with me. There's not much in regards to that. If anybody knows what carb this is, please let me know if there's any replacements available for a little 1-barrel manifold like this. I don't even care what. It doesn't even have to be factory. What does that say? Harley remanufacture. There's a number on the side of it, so maybe I'll look into something for that. But this is loosey-goosey, so this is not connected on the accelerator pump. I'm not sure. I thought it was just a little C-clip here. Let's just put that back on. And you hit the throttle, it pushes down on that. So this should be up, and then I think, or does it get pulled up? No. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. So the accelerator pump plunger is in here, but it's leaking out of here, and the fitting on the threads for the pipe, or the fuel inlet threads, are absolutely wallered out and gone. So I definitely want to find a carb. That's next on the list. I have to hit up the old internet, but run strong, it's healthy. At least that's enough to hopefully get it forward and back and try and restart it a bunch of times. Let's go for a ride in the Falcon. Okay, back in the Falcon. Panel truck's on pause. It started, it runs, tries to idle until it fills up the float bowl and then doesn't stop filling up the float bowl, so that thing's just pouring gas out the carb. I don't know, I might take the carb off and bring that back home. If we do, you'll come along for that ride, trying to take all the fittings and parts off of it. If not, that'll sit here, and that'll be next weekend's project, or maybe later this weekend, who knows. 'Tis a Friday after all, and I don't really feel like wrenching on a bunch of stuff. Really, I need to get the carb off, or if I can research it and figure out what carb that is. 1-barrel on the GMCs. If you guys know, please let me know. I'm looking for a 1-barrel that will bolt right up to that manifold. In terms of the linkages and the other things, I can make all that work. It's a manual choke too, but kind of bummed on that one. The inlet is completely loose. There's no threads left in the body, which means I either need to try and oversize and then step down the fuel lines on that, or we bypass it. I'd like to just bypass it by replacing the carb. The only other issues I had with that car running and driving was when it got hot, it would randomly decide to die, but it definitely seemed like a fuel issue that I think was probably something in the carb as well. Oh well, let's see if this Falcon pile will fire up. Just like it should. Still got brakes. Still have hard shifts. Oh boy. Rush hour. Not gonna go for a crazy long ride, but just a longer cruise. Open it up a little bit. Come on now. The temp gauge didn't really move at all on the last one, so I'm hoping that kind of fixes itself while we're ripping around here. But should be pretty good. I mean, beautiful day, cannot complain. Truck started. Oh, well, Truck started, but that's at home, so we gotta put a battery in that tonight too. But then we have the summer fleet of fun time four-wheeled vehicles done. Every bike in the garage is currently running. Softail included, even though I don't have the tanks hooked up. And then I think we're probably gonna cap off, it's probably gonna be a separate video, but spend the rest of tonight going through the tanks on the Softail. I think I got enough info on the carb stuff, and I think I have room to get to the wiring to bypass the Vos. But I don't know, really just killing time while I'm waiting on the traffic to die down. Try and see if we can build up a little bit of temp on the gauge here. Hopefully that's still working. How fun this car was. And our temp gauge is working. Just needed to get beat on a little bit. So I really need to get the Falcon back too, because we got brand new doors for this thing. Well, brand new beat up crusty primer doors for this thing. And I messed this one up when I backed it into a concrete post, so I'd like to make my stupidity go away if at all possible. And then we got to do some headlight wiring on this because they like to turn on and off on their own, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. It feels good, pulls hard, still slow. I mean, it's quick, I guess, but it's not fast at all. When we were at the track, this thing was way slower than I wanted it to be. But I think part of that has to do with that carb. So we can at least move this out of the way for some landscaping. And it's on the list to bring back to the house. It's just a matter of when. I like having the truck at home because I use it for truck things, you know, picking up lumber and dirt and oddball things like that. But the Falcon will replace the Volvo wagon as we kind of progress here. Weather's finally kind of on the mend, if you will. We're getting back up into the, you know, 55, 60 degree weather in the morning most days, which makes it much easier to start and drive a car. And I'm not sitting here spending 15 minutes letting the car warm up and still not have heat and be cold and defrost the windshield. So move this thing, park it, we'll be back in a bit. Made it back to the house. So last one. I had to pull the battery out of the Falcon yesterday to fire this up because I think the key got left on, or the fan, something. So last one. I'm gonna drop a battery in this truck, fire this up, we're gonna pull this out, and then I'm gonna start going through the bikes. It's gonna be a will they run video, I guess. Not what I planned, but it's kind of how the day is going. And then hopefully we can try and get the tanks on the Softail tonight. We'll see how that goes. Let me grab the battery. All right. I will go through and clean up these wires this year. That needs to happen desperately, desperately. Loosen this one up a little bit. I don't know why this doesn't want to fit. That's odd. When in doubt, hit with hammer. This is literally the battery that just came out of this. Okay, spread it open. Now we'll have to address that at some point. I don't know why that's not functioning like it's supposed to. She's stuck on there now, that's for sure. Made a fun problem for future me. And where did I put that last one? Make sure this starts before we finish this one up. Obviously, I don't know what caused that battery issue. We'll fix that. These terminals need to be redone terribly anyway, but that'll at least get it good enough to drive 4 feet forward. I think. So we can get the bikes out of here. Fuel pump's working. Tight fit. There we go. That'll run for a minute. Just let it charge. Not that it'll charge that much, but there's that one. Now we can get to the string of shovelheads. Keep it going. Frankenstein. We'll do what does everything run.
Is that fucking recording?
Yep. Number one. Up next we get the Evo. This is gonna be the hard one, huh? Wait for my dance. not going to try the Galore. It will run, but I never extended the kickstand with the new tire, so unless I grab a 2x4 and lift it up and pedal it over, it's not going to fire. And it's the smallest and lightest bike we have. But here's how that works. If I jump on this to pedal it, turn the motor over, I'm dragging that rear tire, and it won't start that way. This will probably take a little bit. This is also the deep cleaning of the garage day that I've been putting off forever. Super glad. This might take a couple cranks. So this bike has a Chinese $50 CB carb, which I'm okay with most of the time. There we go. It just takes forever to get fuel. The accelerator pump works fine for riding, but there we go. It's at least getting gas now. Turn the Evo off. Not too bad. So with that Chinese carb, compared to a stock CV, it still works. It runs fine. It's got all internal Harley parts. So I took a stock CV and went through everything, swapped everything over to the actual body, and then used a stock float bowl. So it has the drain. Not that I use them that often, but that's done. And the only issue on this one is it takes a ton of fuel on cold start. But I spent a lot of time going through and dialing in the carb on that one. These plugs look fantastic. That's the next one in the fleet. So we're firing all of these up, and we're just letting them idle and run down. That needs exhaust gaskets, which is where that smoke's burning off of. I'll show you the trick on that. That's the next bike to get worked on once I get the softail done. That's not gonna happen tonight. I was hoping to try and get the tanks on the softail. I forgot to get more washer spacers big enough for the carb support, so we got the tubes and everything kind of laid out, but I need more shims because this is pulling that in way too far. For whatever reason, that carb is sticking out too far, so I gotta shim the rear. Once I get that, looks like my bike's on fire. If it sits for a long time, it does that for about 3 to 5 minutes, or until you start driving, then it stops. But it's definitely burning some oil. That motor needs a freshen up. Lots of miles on that thing. Oh, let's see if I got the energy to start kicking. Chopper's up next. All right, this is the most concerning of the fleet. I have not started this all winter. It has been jammed in this corner, buried behind 2 or 3 other bikes. So here is, and I don't think there's a lot on this. This is a, oh, they got cobwebs and everything. That's how long it's been neglected. This is a shovelhead chopper with a cowpie trans. Hand shift, foot clutch, open primary, belt drive. Had this for a handful of years. The motor is first year FXR, if you pull the VIN info. So first year shovelhead FXR, 80-incher. It's got an Andrews can. I think it's a B grind in here. She's a screamer. It's running through a cowpie trans. Made the pipes, did all the frame bracing. Got this frame. It's a Paco hardtail for 150 bucks, I think. Added the gusset brace here in the window, wishbone frame, if you didn't notice. All sorts of odds and ends, old crusty chopper parts. So made the shifter arm for the, or the clutch release for the, made the shifter arm, shifter knob, clutch release, sissy bar, cross support on the frame, full exhaust, all stainless. It's dirty now, but all stainless to the cocktail shakers, which I ordered the wrong ones and had British bike style, so one for each side. Had to re-weld that one, so there's one little seam there. Little double sissy bar action in the back, seat, and all of these fun things. Re-welded this springer twice. It's cracked on me a couple times. Little whiskey throttle and chopper foot clutch dump wheelies. Makes for a good time, especially when Dottie's on the back. She loves doing chopper wheelies at stop signs. So, yeah, there's enough. Again, this one has not started. It is ice cold. This is first start, so if this takes 19 years, then we will cut it in edits. I'll tell you about it, but you don't need to watch me suffer anymore. I feel like we did that all winter long on that ironhead. All right, how do we even start this thing? Gas is on, choke is on. Oh, here's the exhaust mount. I think I've mentioned this in a couple videos. This is what we got to re-weld up. I used 1/4 inch bar stock here, which wasn't big enough, so it's been side of the road re-welded a couple times. This needs to be replaced. I think I'm going to step that up to like 3/8 bar, but I got some work to do on that. Wish me luck. Key off. I'm not confident on this one at all. Couple primer kicks here. Oh man, it's been a while since I've kicked over a shovelhead. I'm used to sportster things. This one's soft. All right. 1, 2. 1 squirt for good luck. Key on. She's right there. This feels so weird. Yeah. Whew. It was so close. I might have flooded it. There's a pop. There's a pop.
Shovel.
Flooded it. Got a little overzealous for sitting. I figure if it sits longer, it needs more gas, but I think I was wrong. I was within 10. Pretty happy about that. I think we're gonna rip this thing around tomorrow, so it's within 10. I definitely got overzealous on throttling that with the accelerator pump, flooded it out. The last 5 kicks were wide open, lit right off, revved up, you heard it, hopefully. But there's that one. Now we're on to the easy electric start to finish us up. Yelled at for how neglected the bike is. Whew.
Dust.
You're gonna scratch the paint. Oh wait,
my finger?
that's powder. We don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so this is actually an all powder coated frame and tanks with the graphics and designs. It's not perfect because I'm not a paint guy and was playing around with different color schemes. This might actually get redone at some point, but here's me running a nail over the edges. It is smooth. I never did any sort of buffing or anything on this, which you can do on powder. Now on to the last one. I'm running out of driveway space. And we're gonna cheat on this one. It's electric start, so that's fine. I don't have to kick it. And the only issue I have with this bike is if I let it sit for extended periods of time, like it has all winter, this will sump like crazy. So I threw a drip pan underneath there. Poor FLH. I don't know how much of this bike has ever even made it on the channel, but kind of a fun story. I got this bike complete. It's mostly original parts. They have been resprayed. So the fenders, the tank, front fender, rear fender, tanks have been resprayed. The bags were the color that came on it. This is the original, so it's got some great 90s pinstriping and a gigantic pizza box trunk. The biggest one. Fits lots of cases of old style. I have a fairing for it that was also painted to match. It's kind of a newer style one, not appropriate for shovelhead. I'll run it in the fall, winter, but for the most part, I'm not really a big fairing guy. If you've never ridden a bike without if you wear a helmet, it's a different story, but if you've never ridden a bike without a helmet and have a slightly longer beard with a tall windshield, the wind goes around and swoops up, and this ends up going like this the entire time, poking you in the eyeballs. So, let's see. We're not gonna pull this one all the way out. I don't need to move it down the driveway. But what I am gonna do is reach around the tank. The old reach around. Click that gas on. Let that fill up. We got an S&S Super E on this one. This also has a B-grind cam, which is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I have a stock H-grind somewhere. It might actually be in the trunk. Lots of parts. I love this bike. I don't ride it all that often, but if I'm going to pick up stuff, this is the workhorse. I mean, Daddy sent me to the grocery store with a list of like $200 some in groceries for like a small little get-together party. I rode this there. I didn't even think about needing anything else. I popped the trunk, dropped the stuff in, and came home. I've also picked up small block Ford heads on this, intake manifolds on this, all sorts of, that trunk space. It's not aesthetically pleasing to me whatsoever, but on something like this, I just kept digging out more and more parts and jamming them on as I find them. So, gas has been on for a minute. It's an S&S so we can squirt this one. We'll give it 5 squirts. Key on. Dash lights up. Choke up. Hopefully it's in neutral. Neutral lights on. Come on. There you go. How do you beat that? How do you beat that? Did I bring you down and we can watch it sump together? There she goes. For about a minute, leave a giant puddle on the ground, and then it's bone dry. After that, there is not a drop of oil underneath this bike. The only issue I have is that initial, if it sits for too long, it pukes quite a bit on that initial startup. You can see it now, it's kind of done. It'll miss. Just missed out the residue. Then she ends up stopping and it's bone dry underneath. Again, 79 FLH that doesn't leak. With the original transmission that's never been opened. So I got this that way. He never opened the trans when he got it and I was really hesitant, but after the conversation and talking to the dude, I trusted his judgment. It was one of those, you meet guys where you don't really care what the condition of the bike is, or you meet guys that walk you through everything. He was the second owner of this, so I am actually the third owner of this. It was purchased at Woodstock Harley Davidson, about 45 minutes for me, 30, 45 minutes for me. And this one is a completely rebuilt motor. Balance crank, still an 80-inch. It's a 79. But it is turnkey, all original with the ratchet top trans. I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Oh, yep, it's ratchet top. So, how bad is that? You get so many bikes, you can't keep track of what's what. But this is the workhorse in the summer. This is my daily jump on and go. We have options now, so not trying to brag. I'm not trying to heighten everything, but I got all of these different bikes that I never really get to talk about or discuss or work on until something breaks. Same thing with the cars. We have tons of cars. We have tons of things to do. Trying to juggle all of these different things at once is a huge pain in the ass. So I think I saw somebody in the last set of comments mentioned, like, how do you keep up with all these projects? I don't. I do, but I don't. Things get put on hold depending on what it is. However, there's no shortage of, all right, we're working on this bike, so while I'm working on this, parts are coming, we're good. I can start jamming on this one or get to a point like this. I don't have the stupid washers big enough to go around this, and I don't want to sit here trying to drill out a bunch of washers, but I need about that much. This will tighten all the way in, but it's pulling the carb support bracket in, and I don't want to break those aluminum ears off. I don't know why it sits that way. If any other Evo people, this is all new for me. But the breather head bolts with the little hose fitting, too big of a gap here. I don't want to put the tanks back on until that's done, so I came back today hoping to slap these tanks on real quick. That won't take that long. But I don't want to block access to everything because this in particular is kind of a pain in the ass to get to everything. So this one's on pause for another day or two. Maybe I'll wake up early and go to the hardware store and start messing with that bright and early in the morning. I wake up very early. I go to sleep at a reasonable hour, but I get up anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30 every day. So when I can, especially on the weekends, we open the shop at 10, so that gives me 4 or 5 hours of noodling around in here. A lot of the times I'll spend that editing these videos, but that's kind of where we're at. So runner, 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 runner. If I had more patience and didn't want to start sweating again, we'd fire this up. But take my word for it, this is a run. Well, I could just grab a drill and we could fire it up that way too, but it doesn't matter that much. This one is back burner project for a little bit. We'll use this for some vending stuff. Daddy's got to get out here and start cleaning up that chrome. But we'll try and finish this thing up tomorrow. So right now my temporary plan on this is we wrap up. I got a plug on the vacuum nipple for the Vose. The Vose wires on this are completely busted. I read in the comments somebody said ground the purple wire and then it should be okay. If you're well versed or more well versed on the Vose system, please let me know. But as far as what I've heard, if I cap off that vacuum nipple, I got the black wire going to ground already. I think it's this purple and white wire. I have no idea what this is, but I'm assuming because the comments told me the purple wire. And I don't really have anything else out here. Here's this wire that went somewhere at some point. I don't know what they do, but I know it started this way. It might not be the ideal situation, but I think if I disconnect the Vose, it should stop the advance. So it might not run that well. Time will tell. I haven't done a shakedown run on this bike yet. So I know it starts. If you haven't seen that, go back a handful of videos. We did the intake manifold gasket seals and fired it up that day on the little bottle, but it ran out of fuel real quick. Other than that, we're pretty much there. Brake light's working, wires are run, dash is naked and will stay naked. I don't even know if I have a key. I don't lock my bikes anyway, so if anybody wants a free Harley, take one of mine. They're overinsured and undervalued, I guess. I don't know, however that works, but that's kind of where we're at. Will it run? Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video because now I gotta figure out how I'm putting all these back in the garage. So cleared everything out, hit it with a leaf blower from the front forward. The back corner, that's gonna have to be addressed. Oh, the neighbor, be nice to your neighbors. She's got all this space that she doesn't use and genuinely offered that spot to me a couple times. I never wanted to take it, but finally we got this, and while I'm waiting on getting the vinyl graphics done for the shop stuff on the side of the trailer, plus having Harley parts right next to me is amazing. It's not gonna be a permanent situation. I gotta take out some trees. That's not gonna be fun or cheap, but I got the crappy old trailer tucked back there. That's usually where that one lives if it's not over at my buddy's shop, because we kind of use that as the communal catch-all. It's the easiest one to hitch up and go. But this tree is moderately okay. It's just reaching well over the house, and there's been a lot of these older ones going down. The three behind it, there's 25% of them still alive. Most of them are dried out, so we're gonna rip those out, and this will either live here or it will live at the shop up front. Hopefully I can advertise and utilize that space if it presents itself. Landlord bought a property next to ours, so he's kind of got an open field. Fingers crossed that's where it'll live for a little bit at least. It'll be safer at my house, but realistically, what percentage of people are actually trying to get Harley parts? And if you are, the amount of time you will take to go through and do all of that, it's not worth your time. So hopefully that was an enjoyable video, because now I have a ton more work to do before the sun goes down. And we're getting hungry, so let's figure out which order I'm gonna put all of these back in. I'm not gonna be riding the bagger for a little bit. Gotta clear some of this out. Oh, the other plan, I gotta get another lift table in here at some point. I got a couple customers looking to have me just do kind of fluid changes, once-overs on bikes that have been sitting for a little bit, so I'm running out of space. Or I stop working on my own stuff for a while, but where's the fun in that? So this is where we're at. Let's put these things back in. What? I thought we were taking the chopper.
Oh, we can't. I just don't know if anyone wants to hang out this way.
I thought you said Andy wanted to hang out.
He did, but I said we get off at 2.
Well, they're probably going to ride up this way anyway. And we can leave early if he wants to meet us there. As long as we get the pickup stuff done. All right, then what? Frankenstein.
Why don't you just put a for sale sign
keep selling bikes.
What?
I don't like selling them in the neighborhood though, because I feel like eventually, we'll have to tighten that. And the Eva, I'm going in order of what I think we're riding next. If the weather keeps getting nice like this though, I might be able to do a ride a bike, different bike every day. So I know if you guys have been following some other channels, there's a million out there. And oddly enough, we're in one of those weird situations, well, I am in one of those weird situations where, I don't know, it's amazing to me that we've gotten to the point that we have, but I didn't think you could actually make money on the internet. Not that I'm making a lot, but all of you guys help me out a ton in that regard, so thank you so much. Everybody that comments, everybody that chimes in, or just the people that watch the videos. I will be the first one to admit I don't do that. But you start getting more bikes and it seems cool. It is a ton of work, I will admit that. You're always worried about something broken or some little thing, and it's very easy to overlook or oversee a ton of stuff. Or you park them for a little bit because they're broken, knowing that they need to get fixed, and then forget about it until the next time you drive them or ride them. So here's our newly founded fleet. You guys have been amazing. Thanks for coming along on the journey. I wish I started this week earlier, because fresh rebuilt motor, top end on this one, full rebuilt trans, primary, all the other jazz on the Super Glide. That's still trying to be the next one in the queue, but it's just a matter of funds and time. And once summer gets here, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna be switching back to some car stuff. Like the panel truck today. The panel truck is now leaking out the carbs, so I gotta find a replacement. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about those 1-barrel carbs for a 305 V6 manifold. I don't know jack about them. I haven't spent a lot of time. I went through and rebuilt it, but that's when I found all the other problems, band-aided it, drove it up there, parked it. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those other fun things. Support your other YouTube channels. If you enjoy their content, hit that like button. I'm not somebody that does that typically. I don't go through and like other videos. I don't comment. I don't usually do that much on the YouTube presence. It's never been my same thing. Same thing with the rest of the social media stuff. I don't spend enough time, and I hate scrolling through my phone. I hate watching short. It doesn't appeal to me. I'll spend time on channels with people I know. I'll spend time on informational stuff. Tons of time on informational stuff, but that's kind of where I'm at. I try and get back to your comments and feedback as quickly as possible. And like I said in other videos, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes it's a week and a half, 2 weeks. I do it in bulk. So if you comment and don't hear from me, you will get an answer. It might just be a week later. So that'll wrap this one up. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those other fun things. I'm gonna put all this stuff in the shed and then go eat some dinner. We'll catch you on the next one.